There once was a girl named Jenny, whose virtues were varied and many, excepting that she was inclined always to make up her mind. Now Jenny points a moral with which you cannot quarrel, as you will find. Jenny made her mind up when she was 3. She herself was going to trim the Christmas tree. Christmas Eve she lit the candles, tossed the tapers away. Little Jenny was an orphan on Christmas Day. Poor Jenny, bright as a penny, her equal would be hard to find. She lost one dad and mother, a sister and a brother, but she would make up her mind. Jenny made her mind up when she was 12, that into foreign languages she would dwell. But at 17 to Harvard it was quite a blow, that in 27 languages she couldn't say no. Poor Jenny, bright as a penny, her equal would be hard to find. To Jenny I'm beholden, her heart was big and golden, but she would make up her mind. Jenny made her mind up at 22. To get herself a husband was the thing to do. So she got herself all dolled up in her satins and furs, and she got herself a husband, but he wasn't hers. Poor Jenny, bright as a penny, her equal would be hard to find. Deserved a bed of roses, but history discloses that she would make up her mind. Jenny made her mind up at 51 that she would write her memoirs before she was done. But the very day her book was published, history relates there were wives who shot their husbands in some 33 states. Poor Jenny, bright as a penny, her equal would be hard to find. She could give cards and spades to many other ladies, but she would make up her mind. Jenny made her mind up at 75. She would live to be the oldest woman alive. But gin and rum and whiskey, they play funny tricks. And poor Jenny kicked the bucket at 76. Jenny points a moral with which you cannot quarrel, makes a lot of common sense. Jenny and her saga prove that you are gaga if you don't keep sitting on the fence. Jenny and her story point the way to glory to all men and womankind. Anyone with vision comes to this decision: don't make up, you shouldn't make up, don't ever make up, you mustn't make up. Anyone with vision comes to this decision: don't make up your
New Zealand tenor James Benjamin Rodgers and American pianist Jillian Zack are presenting a concert series featuring the songs of Kurt Weill this month in Wellington and Blenheim, having done the show also in Whanganui on Saturday night. James is a Wellingtonian who moved to New York in 2005 to study at the Manhattan School of Music. Gillian's from Boston and recently graduated from Juilliard, having already done her undergraduate work at the Manhattan School of Music. The couple live in New York and perform around the Americas as well as Britain and Europe in their own careers, joining together on just rare occasions like this one. Gillian and James both join us now. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good, thank you.
So did you meet at Manhattan School of Music?
Yes, we did.
You had to, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that's a few years ago now.
Yeah, that was back in 2005.
And what, love happened then, and you've somehow made the music together since.
Yeah, periodically. We're careful not to work together too much because it can be a little bit strenuous sometimes. So we usually sort of do about one project a year, don't we? We end up having something going on. So.
Well, it's nice to be able to come back to New Zealand, James, and bring Jillian with you and have something to do, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's a great opportunity for me to get a chance to perform here. So.
Because I imagine that when you're in the States, most of your work is your own careers.
Pretty much, yeah. A lot of the time that seems to be Jillian works with a lot of other singers, but also a lot of instrumentalists, and obviously I'm doing shows and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a different setup, but. We come together for the recital format most of the time. Yeah,
so that one we just heard, the part of the Schumann and Dictaliebe, did you do that together somewhere in the States?
We did actually at the Juilliard School. We did the full cycle, which was in Paul Hall there in Lincoln Centre.
It was one of my recitals at school while I was there.
So you've just finished at Juilliard recently?
Yes, I graduated in May.
And how's that?
It's good. I haven't, we got married in August, so it's when I go back, I'll really start looking for work and hope that it works out.
Because when you do all those years of study, I suppose it's, you've always got that aim. Okay, I'm just finishing this paper. I'm just finishing this, and then suddenly there's the big wide world, and where do you fit in? Do you know what sort of work you want to do, Jillian?
Well, I mean, as James said, I work with singers and instrumentalists and really love the recital. So, my hope is that I'll have enough partners to tour with recitals, and I do some coaching, and I teach a little bit as well. So, it's a little bit of everything, I think.
Yeah, the coaching, does the coaching include coaching James?
That's more rehearsing than coaching.
You're getting to a fine sort of situation there, aren't you? It's kind of hard to know how much to say when it's your partner.
Right, it gets
just
too
somebody.
Personal sometimes, and we find you kind of forget that tactfulness that you would use with other people
in a purely professional relationship.
Exactly.
So James, tell me about Whanganui. You did Saturday night there. How was that?
We did. We had a great time actually. It was sort of nervous for us because this format is something that I haven't done before, and it's a big challenge on voice actually, because there's a lot of talking through. I really wanted to tell the story of Weill, so I wasn't sure if I was going to survive it vocally, but I did, which was great. So, we had a great time, and we had a lovely audience there, and it's a great. I actually really like Whanganui, I have to say.
It's a very musical town. It has a long history of great musical shows and also performers.
Yeah, and they have some great venues. The Opera House there, obviously, as their bigger venue, is wonderful, but they have some other smaller venues that are also really wonderful. So. It's a great place. I hope to go back there sometime again in the coming years to do some other stuff.
So tell me about your journey with Kurt Weill. I see you won the Lotte Lenya competition in 2007. Was that where you began this exploration?
Yeah, that sort of started my conscious exploration. I actually only recently realised that my mother owned a CD of Kurt Weill's music. She went to see a production of Threepenny Opera in the festival many years ago, and was blown away by it, and then went out and bought a disc of Weill's music. And I actually listened to that disc a lot when I was a kid. I didn't know who it was or anything, and I wasn't even sure if I liked it, but I kept on going back to it. And then I discovered a couple of years ago when I was at her place that that's what it was. It was the Robin Archer, very famous Robin Archer.
Oh, Robin Archer's
recording.
fantastic.
So then now, I won the competition, and in my research for the songs going into that competition, I just discovered more and more about Weill, and that was in 2007, and sort of 5 years on, I still find his story absolutely fascinating. And I mean, I've read every biography written about Kurt Weill at this point, because it just.
So that's he left Germany because of Nazism, and he never went back. What did he do instead? Where did he go?
Well, he transitioned through Paris. He had quite a lot of success in Paris early on with his music being performed, his German music. So he thought, well, why don't I stop off in Paris and I'll see what happens? And things started to go well for him there, but he realised it wasn't a long-term solution. There's a lot of anti-Semitism in the whole world, actually, the United States as well. But he found it very difficult because the French music climate didn't want a foreigner coming in. So he ended up shifting away from there before the occupation, and found his way to the US really by chance. There was an opportunity to do a Jewish work there, a famous Jewish producer, moved to New York to do this production, and so he found himself there, and then he just hit the ground running and picked up work with the group theatre, which was a very famous experimental theatre group there at the time, and that sort of started it. And then obviously once the war was going, he realised he needed to stay in the States and became an American in so many ways. I mean, he always had a thick German accent, but he invested himself in the American theatrical world. And
I again just say thank you so much. We know, those of us who've known you now together as a couple for a long time, know how neat you are as a couple, and boy, those of us that have seen you over the last couple of weeks in your performance know how amazing you've got to be as life partners in terms of not just your personal life, but also your professional life. And wow, how special is that? You know, it's pretty big. So really, on behalf of John, John and Gloria and Terry and I, we the four of us, you've ended up with four of us instead of two of us, but we all intensely love both of you, and so on behalf of the four of us, can I say, on New Zealand soil, congratulations, welcome Jillian to our family, and the way that your family welcomed us to your family, and the very best wishes for the future. And the children are going to present Jillian with the horseshoes.
First of all, just thank you all so much for being here. My brothers both will constantly remind me that somehow I managed to find a way to have two 21st parties, and I've managed to find a way to have two wedding parties as well. So I'm going to hold that against them for quite a long time, I think. But we just...
so long as you don't find a way to have two wives, mate.
Well, if Mitt Romney wins, we're bringing it back. I'm joking. As you all know, I left New Zealand because of my crazy chosen field of work, and went to America, and really Jillian saved me in America. She helped me survive it, and it's really because of her that I carry on. I don't think without her I probably wouldn't be continuing. So for that alone, she's a huge presence in my life, other than the fact that pretty much the first moment I saw her, I knew she was the one. But it's very hard for us because there is a huge hole in our lives in terms of the presence, the regular presence of the people in this room, as well as other Kiwis that are not here tonight. And we find that very difficult, and it's been very hard, especially I think for Jill, because she doesn't know so many of you. So I talk about you all the time, and she's like, yeah, great. But then I think, to begin with, it was, yeah, great, but then it became, wow, these people are really, really important, and I want to know those people. So it's just wonderful for us to have you all around us, and it's been great for Jill to be here for a bit. Actually, without me, I'm a little bit concerned because I think my family and friends are going to like Jill more than they like me. She has that effect on you, but it's been great for her to get to know you outside of me, and she is an amazing, amazing person, and I'm grateful to all of you that have spent time with her and that will continue to do so, to have been so welcoming and loving to her. And I know that she is just so appreciative of that and so thankful to know my life. Because her family, I'm not speaking for you.
No, I know.
I'm sorry. Because her family has been to me in the States what you guys are to me here. And so I feel that now you guys would be to her what her family is to me in the States. You know? It's an honour to have you all here. Thank you so much for coming, especially those that have travelled. And really all of you, it's words can't tell you how much I miss you all. You know? As Mackie dear, but he keeps it out of sight. When that shark bites with his teeth, dear, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, where's Macbeth dear? So there's never a trace of red on the sidewalk. Sunday morning lies a body oozing life. Someone sneaking round the corner. Could that someone be Mac the